That's palladium, 0.15 grams. You need at least 1.6, so why don't you go break down the other 11?
Excuse me? Are they trying to hurt my feelings? I feel attacked.
Insa, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Alright, now you've gone and done it. I'll show you what real 2,000 degree fire looks like. Not even hot enough to melt palladium, and that fire burnt my hair. There was just so much wrong with that clip, it almost killed me. Unrealistic. So if you couldn't already tell, today I'm going to be showing you how to make your very own arc reactor. Now, you could use this for cosplay, you could use this for whatever. I really don't care, I'm just here to show you how to do it. And here are the timestamps, unless I'm a lazy boy and I don't feel like doing that. They should be in the description either way, so. Now, you don't actually need much to make this. One big downfall is you will need a 3D printer, but if you could find a friend, that'd be great. I know that cosplayers don't have too many friends. Kidding. But, of course, you can always find someone on, like, Fiverr to do it for you or something. Aside from the 3D printer, what you will need is some clear filament, some solid color filament, that's optional. If you have clear filament, you can just spray paint it, of course. And, you will need resistors and LEDs. It could be 5mm or 3mm. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you know what you're getting into. You will need copper wire. And where you find that, I have no idea. I just found some in my workshop area, and I made it work. You'll also need one switch, but you can get 20 for $7 on Amazon, so that's a great way to go. Also, I got the resistors and the LEDs, both on Amazon. This doc will be down in the description. I hope I can figure out the permission. Aha! I did it. Woo! Alright, so you should be set. The print files will be in the description also. Now let's get into the electronics, a bit harsh. Now to be honest, I used this project as an excuse to learn a lot about electronics, which I did. So I am not an expert, but I can definitely explain what I did. So as you might be able to see in this breadboard, we have 5 resistors. I think they were 250 ohm resistors, and they go into these 5 LEDs, which then connect to these 5 LEDs, which then go into the negative circuit, or the negative lead here, back to the battery. So, once again, positive through the resistors, down this line, over here, over to the negative line, back up, negative lead, to the battery. So let's see why we do this. So this LED will take up 3.3 volts. I'm powering this with a 9-volt battery, which means that the most I can power at one time would be 2. That's the reason why we have it set up in a parallel circuit. Now if you wanted a series circuit, what you would need is 33 volts. And I don't have a 33 volt battery, and I don't want to pay for a transformer to pump it up to 33 volts. So what we're going to do is put it in a parallel circuit, which makes it 9 volts for every 2 LEDs, and we have 5 sets of those 2, which adds up to 10, which is how many we need for this project. Now I'm cramming the information that I learned in a week into a 10-minute video, so if you want to learn more, there should be links in the description to other videos not by me. Now the last class I had in electronics was in 4th grade, and that basically just covered magnets. So if that doesn't tell you that anyone could do this, nothing will. Now if none of that made sense to you, here is a wiring diagram. I just used a simple LED calculator. The link will be in the description for you to follow. And from now on, I'm limiting the amount of times I can say link in the description to 2. So here's a bit of an example of how this should go down. So you take the positive end and the negative end of the 2 diodes and connect them together. And then, oh, this isn't right, is it? Alright, so flip those 2, and then it's good. Yeah, I'm not redoing that. Animation takes way too long. Just imagine that the diodes were mirrored around the vertical axis and the wiring stayed the same. Now that I have all the pieces printed and painted, I'm going to show you a time lapse of how I did it in case you still don't understand everything. Now I actually have a decent idea of what's going to happen, so let's get into some wiring. So after about 3 days of trying, I finally got to this stage where I can just connect up the resistors to the positive side here. Sadly, it ended up not working because I'm a dum-dum. But the very next day, I had off of school, so I could work up until 11 o'clock and get this finished. Sadly, that didn't end up happening, and I finished it at 11 o'clock in the morning on Friday. Now, for those of you who didn't know, black is actually the natural color of shrink wrap. God, I need a heat gun. Now here is just a time lapse of me feeding the wires through and finally finishing this project. It took forever. But once I finally saw this, everything was worth it. Now from here on there were only a couple more things to do, so I had to figure out a way to put copper strands on these. And that's an issue because under here are all the electronics and they're completely open wires. So if you run wires through here, it's just going to short out the circuit immediately. So how would I do that? So I'd wrap it one piece at a time with wire and then glue it and cut it down the middle and stick it back on the arc reactor. Is it janky? Yes. Is it worth not having to cover up all the electronics? Definitely. After that, there is only one more step. You have this 3D printed piece that I designed. That's why it's so bad. So it has space for a 9-volt battery in here and also a switch to turn it on and off safely and easily. So simply slap that baby on and cover it with electrical tape so that the wires aren't sticking out, and you're finished. Now if you're using this for cosplay or like an Iron Man suit, that last part won't really matter to you because what you can do is just take the wires from the inside and wire it to whatever battery you have in your chest because there's ample space there. Now let's look at our final product. If you made it this far in the video, I want to thank you so much for watching. Also, I have a really big project coming on, so I have a Patreon if you want to donate, but you don't have to. If you just hit that subscribe button, that'll make me happy. We just hit 500, guys. That's insane. Keep it up. I can't remember what I did for outros, but have a nice day.